She called the cops and screamed, "Arrest him. He hasn't paid his HOA fees." The flashing lights pulled up outside my gate like it was a raid. And neighbors peeked from their windows. Karen stood there in her red blazer, arms crossed, smirking as if she owned the entire street. Two men in uniform stepped out of a black SUV, badges swinging around their necks. But something about them felt off. Their belts looked cheap, their patches stitched on wrong. I stood calm, leaning on my fence. Because I knew one thing they didn't: this land was mine, fair and square. I had bought it outright, no HOA, no board, no rules. But Karen loved to play queen of the neighborhood, handing out fake notices like candy. She shoved a paper at one of the men, pointing at me, yelling, "He's trespassing. Take him away." The taller officer stepped forward, hand resting on his holster. "Sir, you need to come with us. Failure to pay HOA fees is a violation of community law." I almost laughed. Community law? I asked slowly, my voice low. "Show me the statute." Karen jumped in before he could answer. "Don't talk back. You're finished here. Pack your things or they'll drag you out." Her eyes were burning with triumph, but her voice cracked just enough to show she wasn't fully in control. My son opened the front door then. A little boy clutching his backpack, looking scared. Karen's eyes flicked toward him, and her smirk widened. "Poor kid," she said coldly. "He'll learn fast his daddy doesn't follow rules." That was the line. My blood boiled, but I kept my voice steady. "Step 1 foot on my property without a warrant, and you'll regret it." The fake cops glanced at each other. Doubt flickered. They weren't used to someone standing his ground. Karen hissed under her breath, "Do it. Arrest him now." But what none of them knew was that I wasn't just some man in jeans standing at a gate. I had spent years in special forces, trained to spot lies, trained to face pressure. And right now, I was watching Karen's little charade unravel second by second. I smiled for the first time that night. "Funny thing about badges," I said, eyes locked on the imposters. "Real ones don't shine that cheap." The taller cop stiffened. Karen's smirk faded. And the quiet street suddenly felt like it was about to explode. The taller fake cop took one slow step back, his hand no longer on the holster. The shorter one muttered something under his breath, eyes darting toward Karen like he was waiting for her to give the next order. Karen's face twisted in anger. She wasn't used to losing control. She snapped, "Don't just stand there. He's dangerous, look at him. He threatened me before, I swear it." I raised my eyebrows. "Threatened you? Really? You came onto my land with fake cops, shouting like you run the place. You're lucky I haven't already called the real sheriff." Karen's lips curled into a bitter smile. "Oh please. No one's going to believe you. Everyone here knows me. They'll believe the board president before they believe some squatter." Her words hit like venom, loud enough for the neighbors watching behind curtains. She wanted humiliation. She wanted me painted as the criminal. My son's hand tightened on the doorframe, his eyes wide. And I felt that heat in my chest. The same fire I carried in the desert, when bullets tore past my head. I stepped closer to the fence, my voice low but sharp. "Lady, you made one mistake tonight. You thought the board protects you. But this isn't your playground. This is private property." Karen laughed, a harsh sound that cracked in the still night. "Private property? You think you can hide behind that? I run this HOA. If I say you don't belong here, then you don't. These officers will drag you out if I tell them to." The shorter cop swallowed hard. "Ma'am, maybe we should." She cut him off instantly. "Do your job," she barked, spittle flying from her lips. "Arrest him. Now." The taller one stepped forward again, but I didn't flinch. Instead, I reached slowly into my back pocket. Karen gasped, thinking I was pulling a weapon, and the fakes tensed. What I pulled out wasn't a gun. It was my phone. I held it up, recording. "Good," I said evenly. "Keep talking. Because every second of this is going straight to the county sheriff's office." The camera caught it all, Karen's face twisting with rage. The fake badges glinting under the SUV's headlights. And my calm stance on my own land. Karen froze. For the first time, doubt cracked her mask. She whispered, "Turn that off." I smiled coldly. Nah. This is the part where the truth gets louder than your lies. Karen's eyes darted around. Her confidence slipping as she realized the neighbors were still peeking from their blinds. Recording on their phones too. Her voice turned shrill, "Stop filming. You can't film me without my consent. That's illegal." I chuckled, not lowering the camera. Illegal. On my own property. In front of witnesses. You really don't know the law, do you? The taller fake cop shifted nervously. His cheap badge caught the light again, and I zoomed in on it. "Smile," I told him. "Because this footage is evidence of impersonating an officer. That's a felony." He froze, eyes wide. The shorter one stepped back toward the SUV, whispering something like he wanted out of this mess. Karen snapped at him, "Don't you dare leave. You're here to do a job. Do it." My son called from behind me, his voice trembling but strong, "Dad. Should I call the sheriff?" Karen whipped her head toward him. "Don't you dare. That phone stays down," she shouted, her voice cracking, and that one mistake made the whole street gasp. She had just yelled at a child. I turned slowly, fixing her with a stare so sharp it cut through the night. "You just crossed the line." Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. For the first time. She looked uncertain, like she could feel the walls closing in. I pressed record harder, making sure my voice was clear. "These aren't real officers. This woman brought impersonators onto my land to try to evict me with fake HOA fees. My name is Marcus Wright. Former Special Forces. This is my property. And I'm not moving." The fake cops looked like they'd seen a ghost. The taller one stammered, "Wait. You're Special Forces." Karen tried to laugh it off. "He's lying. Don't believe him, he's just making up stories to scare you." I reached into my jacket pocket, slow and deliberate. Her face drained of color. But what I pulled out wasn't a weapon, it was my military ID. Worn but real, shining under the porch light. I held it up to the camera. The neighbors gasped louder. The shorter fake cop muttered, "Oh. Hell no," and turned his back toward the SUV, clearly ready to leave. Karen's mouth trembled. She hadn't expected me to fight back with proof. I leaned against the fence, calm as stone. "So, Karen. What's your next move? Because every second you stall, the real sheriff gets closer." And right on cue, down the street. The faint glow of real red and blue lights began to approach. Karen froze when she saw the glow of real police lights bouncing off the houses. Her fake confidence started to crumble, but she tried one last desperate play. She raised her chin, forcing a laugh that sounded more like a cough. "Oh, perfect. The sheriff's here. Now you're really done for. They'll drag you out of here once they hear what you did to me." I didn't move. I just let the camera roll as the patrol car pulled up. The hum of the engine cutting through the tense silence. 2 real deputies stepped out. Their uniforms crisp, their flashlights bright. Their presence commanding in a way the fakes could never imitate. "Evening," one deputy said, his voice calm but firm. "What's going on here?" Karen pounced like a snake. "Officer. Thank God you came. This man is trespassing, he hasn't paid his HOA fees for months. And when I tried to enforce the rules, he threatened me in front of everyone. He's dangerous, arrest him." The deputy tilted his head, unimpressed. "Trespassing? On his own porch?" Karen stammered, yes, that's right. He doesn't belong here." The board. I stepped forward, raising my phone so the deputies could see the recording. "Officers, these 2 men showed up with fake badges and tried to arrest me under community law. This woman hired them. She's been harassing me for weeks with fake notices. I've got every single one saved, and now I've got tonight on camera. The deputies turned their flashlights on the fake cops. The taller one shielded his eyes, sweating bullets. The shorter one blurted, "Ma'am. This wasn't part of the deal, you didn't say he was special forces." Karen spun on him, her voice cracking, "Shut up. Don't say another word." But it was too late. The deputies closed in. One of them pulled the fake badge from the taller man's chest, turning it over in his hand. His face hardened. "These are counterfeit." The taller one tried to protest, but the deputy cut him off. "You're both under arrest for impersonating law enforcement." He grabbed the man's arm and twisted it behind his back. The metallic snap of handcuffs echoing in the night. The neighbors gasped and whispered from behind their curtains. Phones were out everywhere now. Karen's face turned pale as chalk. She pointed at me desperately, her voice shrieking, "He's lying. Don't listen to him. I'm the president of this HOA, I have authority here." The second deputy turned his light on her. "Ma'am, there's no record of an HOA in this neighborhood." Her jaw dropped. That's impossible. I've been running it for years." I folded my arms, finally letting the satisfaction show in my voice. Running it. Or faking it. The crowd of neighbors finally started to step outside, murmuring louder, their phones capturing every second. Karen was no longer the queen of the block. She was cornered. And the deputies hadn't even asked me for my side yet. Karen's shrieks grew weaker as the deputies questioned her, their notepads filling with every detail. The fake cops were already in the back of the cruiser, their heads hanging low. But Karen wasn't done. She lunged toward the deputies, pointing at me with trembling hands. "You don't understand. He doesn't belong here, he's dangerous. You can't let him win." The deputy calmly held her back. "Ma'am, enough. You've harassed this man, created a fake HOA, filed false claims, and hired impersonators to intimidate him. That's not authority, that's a crime." Her face collapsed. The last of her power draining as the handcuffs clicked shut on her wrists. The crowd erupted in murmurs, phones raised, capturing the fall of the self-proclaimed queen of the neighborhood. I put my arm around my son's shoulders, steadying him. His small voice whispered, "Dad. Is it over?" I looked at him, then at Karen being led away, her shouts fading into the night. "Yeah," I said quietly. "It's over. No one's ever going to scare us out of our home again." One neighbor stepped forward, a man who'd been silent until now. He nodded at me with respect. "Didn't know you were military. Guess we were judging the wrong person all this time." I gave a small smile. I didn't fight for this country just to be told I can't live on my own land. The deputies drove off with Karen and her imposters, their red and blue lights fading into the darkness. For the first time in weeks, the street felt quiet, safe. And as my son leaned into me, I knew one thing for sure: justice always finds its way, no matter how loud the lies.